Your thoughts on this evening then, Neil?
Good point. Yeah, happy with the point. Thought vast improvement on Saturday. Wasn't much quality in the game from either side. You know, we've tested their keeper a few times first half. They've had a go, we've had a go, they've had a go. Not that much quality in either box really in terms of Tividale producing much, or us when we did. Their keeper was, you know, made a couple of saves and Adams made a couple of saves. What I'm really pleased with is that we've done all the parts that we're missing on Saturday, i.e. winning your headers, winning your tackles, helping stuff on, winning the battles middle of the park, front two chasing lost causes. All the ugly side of football that was missing for 25 minutes of the second half on Saturday. And you've got to get through that part of football. If you get through that, hopefully you get some quality, you get a foothold in the game, you get some quality. And that's what's been missing of late really. And I'm pleased because obviously 2 or 3 weeks ago we got rolled over by Tividale. And that's still been hurting me and obviously the players. And in terms of where we're at since that game, I think we've stood up to the challenge tonight in terms of the physical challenge because they bullied us, out-fought us and out-thought us at Tividale, which I said to you 3 weeks ago. But we've stood up to that to a man tonight, and every one of them's stood up to the physical challenge, and we deserve our points.
Got behind them on a couple of occasions. Again, it's probably the disappointing thing for you that probably didn't get behind them enough really to cause them too many problems.
No, we put some decent ball in second half in behind them as well, and we made it a little bit more difficult for the two centre halves who in the 2 previous games have had, you know, cigars on really. They haven't had a lot to do, but we've made it a little bit more uncomfortable for them this evening, and we worked on 1 or 2 things of how we wanted to get their 2 centre halves turned. I would have liked Stan and Ryan to second half to probably gone and gambled a little bit with balls that Alex Curtis and Sam Griffiths have put in behind or in between their centre halves and full-backs. And I think if we'd have done that, we'd probably got a little bit more joy. Stan was decent with the ball and running at people, but never really gambled with stuff in behind. And I think if he had have done, there was a mistake in there. But another building block in place. You know, the last few weeks we've looked a little bit, I wouldn't say weak, but teams have probably thought they could come here and bully us, set pieces, free kicks, corners, and have a physical presence against us. And we've stood up to that tonight.
Shooter and Joe Ballinger at the back as well handled Carl Edwards and Donside better tonight than they did at the Beaches a few weeks back.
Well,
and Lucky's tricky because he's so quick. But again, apart from, you know, he had 1 or 2 chances, but generally they dealt with him well.
I think they're a handful, them too. Carl Edwards, what he lacks in pace, he makes up for in know-how, gets hold of the ball, keeps the ball for long enough periods to get his midfield into play, and they've got a willing runner in Jazz Lucky, who in both games, the game here in the FA Cup and the game away, causes no end of problems. We've kept him quiet tonight. You know, he's standing around for long periods. I know he got in a couple of times first half, and Adam made a couple of saves, but I thought Joe Ballinger was excellent tonight. He's getting more distance on his headers, clearing his lines well. Looks more of a physical presence. Shooter had another great game, and we look strong as a back 4. You know, and that's the pleasing part, because you lose 1 or 2 games where you're physically outfought, and that spreads. 1 or 2 clubs hear about that, and they come here thinking they can outwork you and bully you a little bit, and that's a worrying thing for me, because all the sides I've produced over the years, and what I'm trying to get down here is make sure first and foremost you have a physical presence and you stand up to what Northern Prem football's all about really. And the last couple of games that's been a little bit worrying, but we have tonight, and that's pleasing. Just would have liked a little bit more quality, obviously.
Got another home game Saturday against Renworth. What do you know about them?
Very little, because all attention since Saturday has been on tonight and making sure that we get something. Obviously, would have liked to have won the game, but we keep chipping away. It's another point. You know, it's bounced back, if you like, from a defeat on Saturday, so I'm pleased with that. The response from the lads has been good. We're going to have a little bit of a breather now. We could give the lads Thursday night off because there's 1 or 2 bumps and bruises in there. We've got an under-21s game on Tuesday night with the likes of Bottomer, Smudger, Louis Downs, Joel Mills. Copey's going to have some minutes as well. You know, we're going to get some minutes into.
Is that at Ilkeston?
Ilkeston away in the Central Conference, which is fantastic for us. So the lads that put shift tonight will have a bit of a breather, and 6 or 7 of the players that haven't been featured in a minute will go and get some minutes at Ilkeston. So they put themselves in my thoughts for Saturday. So the rest of them will have a little bit breather. And I'll do some homework on Rainworth between now and then. We've got to come Saturday and show the same type of commitment and desire that we've shown tonight, and willingness not to get beat. I think if we do that, hopefully we'll get a little bit of luck, a little bit of quality in the final third, and hopefully win the game.
The one thing we've seen in this league, it's so topsy-turvy. A lot of the top sides again have fallen by the wayside again tonight. Sutton have lost, Gresley have lost.
Yeah.
It's anybody, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing, and
Lincoln have won 4 on the trot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anybody can beat anybody, and if you're not quite right, you get beat. You get beat up and you get beat. So we've had to get the basics right tonight and make sure that we're up to the physical challenge. We've matched them, more than matched them, and at times we've looked probably a little bit more physical than them, which I'm pleased with. But you're right. I looked at the results Saturday, and the likes of Leek getting beat 5, and 1 or 2 others getting beaten. Then there's some freak results at the minute, and that's down to the change in the weather conditions. The pitches are probably getting a little bit heavier, and the teams that have been really passing it, all of a sudden they're not as smooth and not as crisp with their passes, so the game has to change a little bit. So it's a point of chipping away, keep taking points, and hopefully we'll come back into a little bit of form over the next week to 10 days. Hopefully try and get 1 or 2 bodies in between now and the next league game after the Rainworth game. A break for obviously the trophy. And just keep chipping away, keep taking points, and we just need to get back into a little bit of form.
Cheers, mate.
No worries,
Thank you.